It's a challenge to classify Maki's adventure into any of the common video game genres. There's some 2D platforming, some 3D exploration, some mini games, and some RPG style quests. All of these are wrapped up in a big, comfy adventure blanket and presented in its pixely glory in Maki's Adventure, developed and published by Zero Arts. Now, the game starts in the middle of the story. Through a lengthy introduction, it's discovered that 3 holy sharks pass down their power through their teeth to descendants, one of which is Maki, and another his brother Timu, although it's not clear if this relationship is fraternal or familial. Oddly enough, the third descendant is never identified. After the holy sharks died, peace existed throughout the land until a large storm broke open the gate to the underworld, and the king of evil demons entered the world, terrorizing the inhabitants and destroying their islands. Maki and Timu confronted the king, but were defeated and stripped of their shark teeth, which gave them their powers, and thrown into jail. And this is where the game actually starts. You start as Maki in a jail cell. The primary gameplay of Maki's adventure could be classified as Metroidvania Light. A lot of the game is played in 2D, where you're searching for items and using those items to move forward, but there isn't much backtracking involved. The items are fairly easy to find, and where to use them is often nearby, allowing progression toward the next little puzzle. The twist on the 2D platforming is the ability at certain points to turn into a shark and swim through parts of the level. It adds a little variety to the exploration, allowing for some vertical movement, and it pairs nicely with some of the puzzles. At certain points in the gameplay turns into a 3D perspective, where the camera is behind Maki as he swims around as a shark. Most of this perspective is used when you travel between islands, in a pseudo-open world setting. The last battle against the king of demons also uses this perspective. It's an interesting change of pace that keeps the game feeling fresh. The emphasis of the game is represented by the title. So much of the game is centered around exploration. Combat is sparse outside the first area and is mainly relegated to boss battles within each area. However, the non-boss battles play out the same way despite the enemies being different. The basic process is to roll through the enemy to dodge an attack. This sets up the ability to hit them in the back. When you hit them in the back, they turn around, so you roll through them one more time to set up your next attack behind the enemy. This creates a monotonous combat through parts of the game. The boss battles are easily managed with a little patience and observation. You just need to pay attention to how they attack. In typical boss fashion, each boss has a very specific pattern of attacks until you deplete a certain amount of health from that boss. At that point, the boss gets pissed off and gets a little bit more aggressive and has a different sequence of attacks that you have to learn how to dodge. The true star of Maki's adventure is the collection of mini-games scattered throughout the islands. The games are simple yet engaging, like an arcade game. A lot of these games reminded me of the Game & Watch series from Nintendo. Not only are they fun to play, but they're also widely diverse, with the ability to play games like darts and billiards in a pub. There's a game to create potions based on mixing colors, a game about catching fruit from a tree that's falling, racing to collect coins. Success in each game is measured by bronze, silver, or gold medals. The gold medals are definitely challenging to get, so for those completionists out there, I had to work really hard to get those gold medals for 100%. One thing I really wanted more of in the game was more transformations as a shark. Transformations are equivalent here to power-ups in a Metroidvania. Overall, there's just 3, one for each descendant, Maki, Timu, and the unnamed descendant. You're getting their powers through the teeth that you find. But I felt these transformations were underutilized. There weren't any puzzles that used multiple transformations, and the usage of those transformations during platforming was kind of sporadic. I think it would have been a much richer experience to lean in on the transformations and make those the true star of the game. Maki's Adventure is an ambitious project. I wouldn't expect a game with such a diverse arrangement of gameplay to be cohesive enough to provide a quality experience. But here's where we have to remember that looks can be deceiving. Going from island to island by 3D navigation in a pseudo open world perspective is a decision that makes a lot of sense. And it comes as a slight surprise after spending the beginning part of the game strictly in 2D. The mini games are really fun little add-ons. Most of them are skippable, so for those that are adverse to mini games, you can get through most of the game without playing them, although I highly recommend them because they are a lot of fun. The 2D side-scrolling levels are a bit light in action, and the puzzles are simple, often just requiring hitting a trigger on a screen so that it opens up a door on that screen or the next screen to proceed. However, these levels are small enough that players won't really get that bored because there's another style of gameplay just waiting right around the corner. Overall, Maki's Adventure is a good start for Zoroart's catalog. There's so much potential showcased in this game for their future titles. You can currently find Maki's Adventure on Steam for the base price of $9.99. And we'd like to thank Zoroarts for providing us with a copy for this review. I hope that you've enjoyed this review of Maki's Adventure. If you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you next time.